Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and thanks for watching this video. It's been a while and I figured today I would take you guys on a little road trip to go to the north side of the state to the San Juan Islands. I have a good friend who's getting married this weekend, so taking some time out of my crazy schedule to congratulate the couple and also get a breather and get out of the city a little bit and show you guys what it's like to take a weekend trip in Seattle. So I gotta turn around because I forgot the suit and all the stuff I'm gonna wear for the wedding. I have a ferry I have to make by noon and you're supposed to get there 30 minutes before. All right, round two. Let's see if we make the ferries, but you see, have my wedding stuff. So at least I can attend the wedding this time. But if we miss the ferry, then we're going to have to take the next one, and hopefully it's not too much longer for the next train or ferry.
So we're heading to Anacortes, a small island town about an hour and a half north of downtown Seattle. It's probably the best place to take the ferry to San Juan Island, in my opinion. So here we are, we're getting into line. Seems like there's quite a bit of people, and this is the cost to get your car on the ferry and the passengers. This is for 2 people plus a car, and it includes the trip back too, so it looks like it's a lot, but it also includes a trip back. Getting into line, we've been directed into lane 5. There are so many lanes that will make it into each ferry at each time, so I think 5 is where the cutoff is at, but I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out.
So we're like 5 minutes late for our reservation, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are a little bit late. We'll try to get you guys onto the ferry." And I'm like, "Our ferry doesn't leave till noon, and it's 11:30, and they told us to get here by 11:25, but it's like 11:30 right now, so like a little bit late." But as you can see, there's still quite a bit of space because each of these lanes determine, how much space there is on the ferry, and they put us in the 5th lane, which I don't understand, because even if we're late but we're before other people with reservations, then shouldn't we be put in lane 3 or lane 4, which is empty right now? So I don't know how it works, but if you guys go to San Juan, don't be late, even if it's 5 minutes late. Try to be early. I wish I didn't forget the suit, but that's apparently a new thing with COVID now. In the past, they weren't that strict with it, so I guess it's a new thing with COVID, which, I mean, it's fine, whatever. I'll deal with it. Even if we're late, we're late. But it's turning into a nice day, so worst case scenario, we'll just go grab some lunch over here and then make our way back to the ferry if we can't get on, but I think we'll be fine. But actually, in fact, I don't even think we can leave now because we're in line, so I think we're pretty much stuck here.
So I'm hungry and I can't leave, so I decided to wander over here where I saw a little food truck. Looks promising. There seems to be quite a bit of options, so let's go check it out and see what they have to offer. This is what I'm gonna have for lunch because I'm running late. But it's really convenient. I'm actually pretty thankful they have it. It's called Eisenberg. That little stand over there by the bathrooms while you're waiting in line. All right, looks like they're letting everyone onto the ferry, so let's go. As you can see, we're pretty much at the end of the ferry, which means we barely made it on. So even though there was all that empty space in the lines, doesn't necessarily mean you'll make it on. So I was just actually going to take a nap in the car because I was really tired at this point. But I figured, you know what, I'm going to show you guys what the ferry looks like in case some of you have never been on a ferry, specifically ones in Seattle. So let's go and take a tour of what the ship looks like. Seattle ferries have 2 lower decks for parking for all the cars and trucks, and then the main deck is on the 3rd floor of the ferry, and as you go up there, there's a ton of seating. It's usually pretty empty, to be honest, especially now during COVID, where the only people going back and forth are mainly just workers or a small amount of tourists. There's a lot of viewing decks outside where you can go out and get some fresh air. The ferries up in Anacortes to San Juan is a lot smaller. The ones down in Seattle to the Bainbridge Island ferry terminal is really big, and there's a ton of outdoors decks, and there's another whole floor above, I believe. Clam chowder. Just a note, there's no food on the ferries at the moment, probably due to COVID, but I got that clam chowder before I got on at that little kiosk that I was telling you about. Alright, looks like it's time to go back down to our cars as we are arriving in Friday Harbor in San Juan Islands. So here we are, folks. This is Friday Harbor. It's super cute. I'm going to show you guys around town a little bit more. There's a lot of eateries, a lot of cool little shops. It's a little downtown area that kind of reminds me of what 50s or 60s America would be like. It's modernized, but it still kept a lot of the charms and the historical aspects of that time and that era of America. So if you plan to stay overnight in Friday Harbor or San Juan Islands, what you need to know is if your lodging is in Friday Harbor, you don't need to buy stuff and get it ready for wherever you're staying, because there's tons of grocery stores here, there's tons of amenities, so you'll be fine, and restaurants. But if you plan on leaving Friday Harbor and living outside of the little downtown area and staying in lodges or more rural areas, you might want to stop at the grocery stores here and load up on all your supplies before you head out there, because once you leave Friday Harbor, it's pretty much nothing out there. There might be a little gas station or something, but has very minimal inventory. So I would suggest loading up and stocking up here before you head out. So the San Juan Islands, and especially Friday Harbor, has gotten really popular with wealthier people, where they're buying a lot of vacation homes or weekend homes here. So the prices for everything has gone up a lot. But along with that, there's a lot more amenities now also. So some cool facts about San Juan Islands and Friday Harbor specifically is that it was known for being a huge canning town. Canning fruits and seafood and stuff like that to be sent out. It's since stopped, I believe, but in the past, this is where a lot of the Chinese immigrants to America stayed at and worked at during peak seasons of the year. A sizable amount of Japanese immigrants also stayed here and farmed a lot on this island and worked for a lot of the farmers on this island also. And you'll see that as you go through the town, and you see little tidbits of Asian memorabilia and little signs of it here and there, which I didn't realize before, and I thought it was really weird. But it makes sense now that I know the history. You can see here I'm in the main grocery store on the island, and it looks like any American grocery store, although it looks a little bit dated, which is the charm with it. It looks like it could be a grocery store right out of the 60s, don't you think? If you're staying overnight on San Juan Island, I recommend you actually go to the Saturday farmers market that they have. A lot of the people who have farms in the local area will bring in products to sell, and it's so good. We had steaks there, we had vegetables, we had fruits that people brought in. I even brought trees back home to plant in my own yard, so I really recommend that. It's right here in Friday Harbor. Remember when I was telling you guys about the Asian influence here on the island? Well, here's a big example. I was really shocked. I was taken back when I saw this the first time, but it makes sense because there was a lot of Chinese presence here for a very long time in the early 1900s, so it makes sense, right? It's part of the culture of this island. And San Juan Islands was actually one of the more accepting American towns in America during the early 1900s when it came to Asian immigrants, especially from China and Japan. So look it up, you guys, it's pretty interesting. So when I left, it was raining all week, and I thought it was gonna rain all weekend, and I didn't bring sunglasses. So I'm at this thrift store on the San Juan Islands looking for sunglasses. Unfortunately, I did not find any, so to the gas station I go. This seems to be the only place that sells sunglasses that I could find on the whole island. So if you need sunglasses, go to the gas station in Friday Harbor. They'll have a lot of styles to choose from. Not necessarily the best, but these are the best I could find. Literally the only ones that didn't have jewels and stuff all over them. So I recommend don't forget your sunglasses because it is sunny here, even if it's rainy in the city. Alright, I'm heading out to Roche Harbor. There is a resort out there and it's gorgeous, and the road out there is really pretty too. This winery to the right of me is a great winery to catch if you have the time. I don't have the time today, so I'm gonna pass, but in the past I've gone here and they have this wine that tastes exactly like lychee. But it's actually just from regular grapes that's grown here. If you don't know what lychee is, Google it, Lychee. It's an Asian fruit, it's very exotic, it's so juicy, sweet, and just very aromatic. The road out is pretty much one straight shot, and Roche Harbor has a lot of other amenities there, but it's just very small. It's a small little resort town, and there's some small neighborhoods and homes around it. There's also more resorts as you go past Roche Harbor also. But here we are, we've arrived at our resort, and as we turn in, as you can see, there's a ton of new construction homes here. They're not super new, but they're newer, and it's super cute. You see ahead, there's a castle right there. I have no idea who owns it, but it's so cool. And especially at night when it lights up, it's super cool. Apparently it was designed and built by an architect that worked for Disney, so you can see the resemblance to it and other castles in the Disney franchise. As you can see ahead, there's a little harbor right there. It's called Roche Harbor, which is where this resort is named after. It's also along the Haro Strait, which is where the British and the Americans kind of went back and forth trying to claim land. On the other side of the Puget Sound, a little bit north of Roche Harbor, is basically Victoria Island, which is part of the British colonies and is now part of what we know as Canada. I'm walking through the facilities for the Hotel De Haro Resort, which is where we're staying at, and also where the wedding will be that I'm attending. The hotel and the area around here was developed and owned by a man named McMillan. He owned a limestone company that was the hugest manufacturing of limestone on the west coast, and basically all the limestone here helped to build San Francisco and what we see of San Francisco now after San Francisco burned down. In the 2000s, they redeveloped this hotel and the facilities, and as you can see, they've done a really great job of keeping all of the historical memorabilia and actually keeping a lot of the hotel the way it was before and just making it more modernized and putting more amenities into the hotels. During its time, the hotel had some pretty interesting and famous guests here too. As you can see here is the book where people sign in, and President Theodore Roosevelt was a guest here. He was good friends with John McMillan, and he had been invited here on a hunting trip, and he stayed at this hotel right here. And as you can see, as we scroll here, we see that he signed his name right there as a guest, Theo Roosevelt. And if you're a history junkie and you like spooky stuff, stay tuned because I'm going to show you the mausoleum where John had himself and all of his family interred, and the ashes still sit right there. But first, let's go check out my hotel room. I actually haven't been to this hotel before, so I'm really excited to see what it looks like. It looks super historical, but they've definitely kept everything really comfortable and updated to a certain extent, so there's a lot of comfort and amenities built into the hotel, like this elevator. This is the upstairs hallway and staircase. It's been rumored that people have seen ghosts walking around the hallways and haunting. Is it weird that I actually want to experience that ghost? Alright, so this is one of the suites inside of the hotel. I actually wanted just a small room, but they ran out of room, so I just booked the only available thing, which is this suite. It's pretty cool though. It's pretty historical still. But like I said, they've updated everything, so the water runs well, it's hot, and it's very comfortable. Surprisingly, it's a pretty big bathroom for an older hotel. I mean, even most newer hotels from the 60s or 70s have much smaller bathrooms. Alright, here we go. There's a little eating area with a microwave. You can heat stuff up if you needed to. Cute little fireplace, really cozy living space. The whole time in my head I was in here, I was like, this would make a really nice studio actually. It has everything. It has a space, and you can turn it into a little kitchenette in the corner and you're good to go. Honestly, I think that you can even open that sofa up to be a sofa bed or something. I didn't check. So here's like the sleeping quarters, because it's not even in the room. It's its own separate room essentially. But the bed was really comfortable and it was just great. I actually really like this hotel. The best part about this room though is when you go out into the balcony, there's this huge, really charming balcony that looks out into the harbor. And it's super sunny right now and it's gorgeous, but even on a rainy day, I bet it's still really charming and cozy too. So actually those houses right across there, that gray one, you can actually lease that or rent it out. for a bigger party. My friends actually stay there. I just got out of the shower. That trip took like 5 hours, so I needed to freshen up real bad. It's actually really nice this weekend. I thought it was gonna rain, but it's not. Ended up being pretty nice. We got a pretty nice room. We're right in the corner unit, so it's really nice. You guys love my outfit. Literally, I forgot my hotel slippers at home, so I have to wear my shoes for the wedding in this robe. Alright, so I'm gonna head over to the wedding now, but on the way there I'm gonna show you guys the stairwell and what it looks like since we missed it earlier. It's really weird dressing up for a wedding because you're more formal, and then walking through this really formal hotel, you really kind of feel like you were living in those times. So the wedding venue was amazing, the couple was amazing, the wedding itself was amazing, the food was amazing. Unfortunately, I can't show you too much of the wedding. I wanted to respect my friends and keep things more private and not blast it online. But if you guys are looking into a wedding venue in the greater Seattle area, this is the spot. I think it was great. The food was great, the service was great, the facilities was great, everything was just amazing. Alright, so exhausted, tired, but this is a great view to wake up to, so I had to show it again. It's rainy, it's overcast today, but I'm going to show you guys a little bit more of the town anyway, okay? So let's go. Alright, so I'm checking out right now. I decided to only stay for one day. Had a lot of stuff to do back home, so didn't have a lot of time to spend another day here, but it was a great one day at least. So the nice thing about staying at Roche Harbor is that there's some amenities here. So there's little coffee shops, restaurants, and you can actually just stay here all weekend and be just fine. There's a spa here, you can hop in, get some relaxation done. There's actually a little convenience store, grocery store also. And as you can see ahead right there, this is usually kind of like a farmer's market. Super cool, super cute. There's a lot of food, and there's a lot of crafts and art and stuff like that. I think it's the last day of the season, I overheard of them saying, so everything's kind of closing down for the season already. So straight ahead there, you see there's a little store. You can probably pick up some small stuff there if you needed to pick up emergency items. And as you walk along the side and towards the dock, you'll see some more shops and restaurants back here. Mainly restaurants, I'd say, but it's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff to do for, just one resort and a little harbor. There's a huge boat dock here. A lot of people park their boats here, so you'll see. That's actually another really cute restaurant in the corner right there. And there's the hotel from the water looking in. So remember I was telling you guys about John McMillan, who kind of owned this whole area and his limestone company? He basically built like little bubble and infrastructure for himself and his family, and also his employees who lived here also. There's actually a lot of Japanese employees that worked for him, and there were immigrants from Japan, and you'll see later, a lot of them are still buried here. All the big, huge yachts are out here in the harbor. It's crazy. Can you guys imagine living out here back in the day? It's so remote and everything has to be shipped here. Food, amenities, everything. So it's crazy that people lived here for as long as they did back then with very few access to, stuff that we are so used to. As I'm walking through the grounds of the harbor and the resort, it's amazing because it literally has everything you could possibly need in one little town, right? You have a dock to get boats in and getting supplies into you and shipping things out. You have, gardens. They're growing a lot of kind of different herbs and botanicals in here that they would use. You also have that supply and convenience store, which is actually what he built to bring stuff in for his employees. So he built a whole infrastructure here. There was actually a school teacher that taught here too. So here we are, what I've promised you. This is where the mausoleum that he built to basically house his ashes and his immediate family's ashes for the rest of eternity. It's right outside of the resort. It's easy to miss, but before you turn into the resort, you can veer right into this little fork and you'll see this sign right here. So this is where you would park and then walk up a little bit more to the entrance. And there's an airport right there, so actually a lot of rich people just fly into San Juan Islands. So John McMillan was a really educated man, and he was very religious also. When he died, he wanted to build this mausoleum with a lot of symbolism in it, and he wanted to do it in a way that would represent the family unit and also represent his life. And I'll show you what I mean by represent his life later on. But on the way in, you can see here there's a ton of people buried here too. It seems like there are a lot of children buried here. A lot of Japanese tombstones, so I am assuming a lot of his employees were buried here. I've read that a lot of his Japanese employees were very loyal to him, and over time, after they've been able to save up money to build their own farms, they always brought back stuff for him every single year. Food and whatever they grew, they would give to him. Here's an example of a Japanese headstone. This person passed away not too long ago, probably 11 years ago, and was buried here. So there's still a lot of people living on this island of Asian descent. So if you're looking for the mausoleum, it's pretty easy to get lost if you don't pay attention to these little signage everywhere. But after some time walking through the wooded area, you'll come across this gate and you'll know that this is the spot you are looking for. The mausoleum was built with columns in the same exact size and measurement as Solomon's temple. So this man was very, very meticulous by his detail. It cost a lot to build this mausoleum back in that time. And originally it was supposed to have a copper dome, but I'm not sure why they decided to scrap that. But he barely finished this right before he died, so he was able to see it before he died, which is pretty cool for him, I guess, because he spent a lot of money. And those steps you see, the first 3 steps, symbolize, the stages of life. And as we go up, you're going to see a dinner table with chairs around it. That's symbolic of his family unit. And each chair is an individual in his family, and within the chairs are each person's ashes, which is crazy. There's supposed to be another chair, but it was not added, or it could have been removed. They say it was his son that did not follow the Methodist religion, and he was expelled from the family. But there's other stories saying that there's a family friend or someone who worked for him, a lady who was his secretary, and then she was removed. I don't know what the actual truth is, but this column here, this missing column, symbolizes the end of a man's life and all the things that he was unable to accomplish in his lifetime. And the other really cool thing about this mausoleum is at certain times of the day, the sun will align perfectly and create the shadow, which is an illusion of completing that column off. And to him, that symbolizes the family eternally connecting every single day for dinner. The weirdest thing, guys, is I have not seen a snake in Washington in the wild like this since I was like a really, really small child, and it was kind of creepy but cool at the same time. So I'm headed back to Friday Harbor, where the main town is at. I'm gonna pick up some coffee from this really amazing coffee shop that's right next to the ferry. I've already parked my car. Note guys, you might want to park your car first and then go in the town, and then do your thing, and then make sure to go back to your car before your ferry time. Because during COVID, you actually have to show up pretty on time, or you might not get on the ferry, because sometimes the ferries get canceled too. So I've got myself a little latte here. This cute little coffee shop has a lot of cool things in there, so check it out. Stopping by next door to get some food. Honestly, I had lunch already with my friends before they went on the ferry and left, but then I saw all this seafood being grilled and I smelled the amazingness of it, and I had to have more. This place is actually really good. The seafood was really fresh and it was so delicious. The sauces were amazing and the people were really nice. Like the service was just really homey and small town feeling, and it was great. So what you do is you put in your order if you want something grilled, and then you go upstairs and you find a seat. There's some amazing views upstairs if you sit in this little bar area. There's a full menu too and a bunch of drinks that you can order, so I decided to just get some cider today. I had a lot of alcohol last night at the wedding and I just was not feeling cocktails, so got myself some cider and then hung out and waited for my food. What I like about this place is it's actually right at the dock for the ferry terminal, so you can see when the ferry's coming in, so you can run back to your car and get on before they start loading people up. So you can chill out, have some drinks, and wait for your stuff to be brought up. Here are the oysters I ordered. They were like the perfect size. I don't like my oysters too big. I like them just right and delicious. The clams and the mussels, the oysters, everything's fresh from here. Actually, on the way out to Roche Harbor, you'll see that there's an actual shellfish farm out there, and I'm pretty sure that all this comes from there. Alright guys, so that's my little trip to San Juan Islands. It's really easy to make a day trip out here, but you're gonna get really tired because you're gonna have to go really early and like get back on the ferry and hop back really late. I like to make it like an overnight trip at the least. Then you have the day of, and then the day after to get back, right? And you're just taking your time, enjoying everything, and really soaking in the culture of the island and being able to go to the little corner spots and the little hole in the walls and the alleys and the farmer's market. One of my favorite things on the way back from any trips to the island around here is just to get on the ferry, get in some fresh air, and then, you know what, go back down to my car afterwards, and then just taking a nap the whole way back. It feels so good and you get so refreshed, and once you get back onto the mainland, you drive home and you're not exhausted anymore because you took that little nap and you just, you know, breathe in all the fresh and amazing island air. Alright, so that's it guys. Thank you for watching and thank you for coming back to support me. Make sure that you don't forget to subscribe, share, and like my videos. This helps me to bring more content to you and lets me know what you like and don't like also. Until next time, take care guys.